All right, welcome to round number 2. So, again, we have the action, the availability to grab Dryad Arbor, but blind. That's just super risky. Plus, our hand's not even that exciting. Otherwise, maybe Leyland's great, but who knows? Same situation. This hand, like, if I knew what I was playing against, maybe you end up keeping this because you get to go big on Arbor really fast. But I mean, it only becomes a 3-3, you know what I mean? If it was like a 4-4 and I at least got to play around both, that'd be nice, but still both path and push would get you anyway. I think on 6, I'm still supposed to look for 5 here. This is not great. Still have no Boggle, but obviously having Spirit Dancers is valuable. I do need to hit lands, though. Preferably 2 lands even, so that if they kill my first one right away, we still have something to do. All right, playing against Tron here. Oh, no. Playing against KCI? Or Lantern. Forest is kind of weird. I guess it just has to be KCI. Don't know why. Lantern would ever have a Forest? Yeah, I mean, it's just 100% KCI. With Whir of Invention, you're just going to see a lot more islands than like swamps or forests or anything like that from a Lantern. Although there are some where KCI builds as well. But I imagine this is KCI, which pre-board, they'll probably win our first game. But being able to bring in both Rest in Peace and Stony Silence, 2 of the most difficult cards for this deck to beat at the same time, is kind of nice. Unfortunately, we drew not so good one in Spirit Mantle, but we'll see what we can cobble together in the future. The good news is they don't really have a lot of removal for these Spirit Dancers. They did find a Pirate Spellbomb, which I'm sure is going to go into play right now, so they do have something. Okay, no, they have an even better play in Wellspring. So they're very, very well set up here. If they have KCI, they should pretty easily... They should pretty easily be able to kill us from here. It's possible they don't have it. They have a lot of inherent card draw, though, and they're pretty likely to find it. So I think I don't want to show them this Boggle. Like, they'll probably put us on Bogles anyway. Yeah, I think I'm basically just not winning this game and don't want to tell them I'm not humans or core deck, like a Devoted Druid deck or anything like that. I think we'll just at least keep that a secret. And we're just kind of sticking around for a turn or two to get maybe a little more information, though obviously we can imagine they're probably playing Matt Nass's deck list. KCI, one of my favorite decks to play in Modern. It's hard for me to not be particularly pleased with the Grand Prix this past weekend with an Amulet Titan KCI finals. Hard not to enjoy that for me. All right, looks like they just playing another Wellspring here. So maybe no KCI yet, or maybe they just figure they have time to set up a little more, but I doubt it. I mean, Wellspring, they could have just played after sacking a additional Wellspring, so probably means they just don't yet have it. Which, you know, you could argue I should have played the Boggle. Maybe I get to put some beats fast enough. But, I mean, if my opponent doesn't have KCI, they likely have lands, which means they can at least sack their Mind Stone. They can sack their Spell Bomb. They'll get to it sooner or later. So I think Even though they're showing us some signs of weaknesses here, I think I'm going to probably concede after taking this draw step, even if we do hit the land. Our percentage to win this game is too low, and I want to at least conceal some info. This is not super meaningful. They can still kill us with Emrakul. I guess if I had, like... No, this is not creature, of course, so that doesn't do anything. I was thinking for a very brief moment that I could lock my opponent out of either of their win cons, but that's still kind of silly because they'd still be able to draw their entire... near their entire deck and still get there. So now the question is, how much interaction do we really want to bring in? Obviously, Stony Silence and Rips and Seals are definitely coming in. So after that, there's some question of, do we want like additional removal for Mirror Retrievers and Scrap Trawlers? Obviously, Path being a particularly good one, as long as they don't already have a sack outlet or whatever. Yeah, these are just coming out. I think I probably do want those. Daybreak Cornets can potentially go. Spirit Mantles are very bad. Cartouches don't do a lot. I still like Umbras to help us with engineered explosives, which I guess means Teague might be worth it. If engineered explosives is like the only card we're afraid of. Again, I have to be pretty careful not to overboard here and just not have ways to suit up my creatures. But stuff like, I mean, the evasion stuff like Griffspoon doesn't really matter. Rancor is okay. At least it gives a little more power. Griffspoon is just a worse Rancor, I think, in this matchup for like 90% of the time. And again, the Daybreak Cornets probably are supposed to get shaved as well, considering how many other auras I've cut, which is maybe a problem in and of itself. Maybe I'm just supposed to cut less auras. I guess I only cut... No, I cut 6. Probably at least supposed to do this again to stop explosives. I guess it also just stops, like, KCI. I mean, it's just great. There's just a lot that it's annoying for. I just got so focused in on my other, like, clearer bullets that I didn't go straight to it. Yeah, I think this is fine. Oh, is there... No, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep... I don't have any of the, like, really big bullets, but Seal Primordium even should buy me a bit of time. I'll probably play Seal Primordium next turn, and then go Spirit Dancer Umbra in the same turn. Though my opponent could have a way to blow this up, so there's some risk in that. Yeah, so just got a lot of interaction here. Okay, let's... How likely are they to be able to interact with this? It's pretty unlikely. I guess I should probably just play Spirit Dancer. I think they're actually more likely to interact with my seal than the Dancer. And this obviously sets me up for a much better turn here. I mean, primarily it's going to be engineered explosives. Obviously, they could have like one of the couple spell bombs, depending on whether they're a recent list, like the list from this past weekend that had 2 spell bombs. Matt Nass's list, all the lists often with 1, but they could have it here. And I suppose his list this weekend did have Galblast as well, which is a more recent thing, which could also kill my Spirit Dancer. There is the Spell Bomb, so punished for doing that rather than playing Seal Primordium, and now I'm going to be super slow. This obviously is going to be great. So let's just go ahead and play that and Hyena Umbra. There's definitely an argument for playing Seal Primordium first to try to get that interacted with, but I just don't want any artifacts to get cycled this turn. Slower start for my opponent as well. Not that slow. I'm going to play this. Maybe the paths are too much. Maybe I'm supposed to have like 2 paths. I definitely don't think I can have any less of the bullets that I brought in. But I could have like... It's just the enchantments that I've cited out are also just so unexciting. Maybe could have like the Coronet and like just one of these 1-mana ones. I guess Cartouche. Yep, there's explosives for 1, though that's not getting used in my Stony Silence. But we're just going to get to blow that up, so. Since our opponent missed a land drop, this does indicate to me, I think, that they likely have a way to deal with our Stony. There's definitely some risk in playing this Bogle out here, but my clock is so anemic that I think it's an unfortunate necessity. Kind of the other incentive to blow up that explosives is the desire to play this right now. Yeah, they do indeed have the claim. Not particularly surprised. I guess I am supposed to wait until they claim to pop their thing, but instead of just assuming they have it. But whatever. I don't need to seal if they don't have claim anyway, right? I still should wait, of course, but I guess they'd play like if they just had nothing else, but that seems weird. I was gonna say maybe I shouldn't assume they have claim just because they're playing this. Like maybe they just have nothing else to do. I guess they would never play it on 2, though. It's always just 1. If they played it on 2, that'd be really weird. But, anyway. I think I'm supposed to play Spirit Dancer here. They could have another Pyretic Spellbomb, which is very unlikely, or a Cybordic Galblast. Don't know that my opponent would have sided those in against me, but it's possible with the threat of Teague. Mostly, I just want to be able to attack for a lot next turn if we draw an aura, and chaining auras together is a way I can do that on the Spirit Dancer, so. We'll go ahead and play it out there. But yeah, I guess if they just had nothing else to do, playing the explosives isn't a tell for the claim. But they did have a lot of cards in their hand at the time, and we're missing land drops, so. I don't know. It still makes no sense for me to pop this until they cast the claim. Like, I can respond to the claim at any time. So there's no reason for me to, like, rush with the seal. But, oh well. So I still played it in kind of a strange way. I still think I think it does make sense to read our opponent for claim, though. Sack the Terrarian, since we no longer have a Stony Silence, unfortunately. But this is definitely part of the risk at sideboarding like we did, right? We drew Seal Stony Path, and so we've just had a lot less We also drew 4 creatures, which is a little bit unusual, I suppose, but as such, we're having trouble suiting up our gentle folk here, especially with a bunch of ways to do that in the board. All right, sure, Mind Stone. The second Spell Bomb. That is a bummer. Oh, man. All right. All right. Well, again, not great to play this into potential engineered explosives, but sort of need a better clock, so we'll go ahead and do that. I mean, it's not changing our clock inherently, but we're hoping that our draw steps can turn this into a 2-turn instead of a 3-turn clock, and playing this Bogle makes that more likely. If I get a +1/+1, I guess I could play it next turn in a +1/+1 enchantment to make that happen, but if I say draw another Bogle, for example, that would require me to have played this already so that I could attack for 4 and then 5. So I think it's just better to run it out there. Also wouldn't mind drawing Rest in Peace or Stony Silence. Those would be sweet. Anything like that. Worst case scenario, my opponent has Nature's Claim, Engineered Explosives. And they claim my Umbra and Rathme. Second of Mind Stone? No, Scrap Trawler. Now they go to second Mind Stone. Fortunately, there's no opportunity for me to have priority. Unless my opponent like passes or something. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter, obviously, because they could sack this in response, so. Either way, they're going to get their trigger since this acts as part of a cost if they act first or if they wait for me to act. I'm still just going to pat this now, I think. I mean, I'm going to do it before combat anyway, right? So. All right, I think there's like just no one draw that kills my opponent this turn, unfortunately, so. Yep, they're getting explosives back. At least they don't get anything from the Scrap Trawler itself. Another Umbra. Do I save the other? Yeah, I mean, I might as well spread it around, and I do want to get in for the extra damage right now. Unless, if my opponent has a blocker, I guess this is a little unexciting. If they have like explosives, crack explosives, land, Scrap Trawler. Then I'd probably rather still have this in my hand to suit up on the scout that survived the explosives rather than have an additional Boggle survive. But I also get in for an extra damage this turn and the same amount next turn. In theory, if they don't have a blocker, I get in for the same amount next turn. Okay, it's still enough to explosives. So they're not dead, obviously. Yep, explosives with the 2 to crack. So I need to draw a 2-mana enchantment, although I've sided out Spirit Mantle. and Daybreak Coronet would fizzle. So they could respond to me casting the Coronet, so that's not going to work. Looks like they're just going to pop the explosives now, which actually gives me a lot of additional outs. Rancor, now I can kill immediately, or before I could not. We drew a land, so we'll just be attacking and passing. Doesn't look great for the home team. Buried Ruin is another way to explosives. Yikes. Yeah, that's going to be rough. We just could not get enough damage going this game. And the same explosives for the third time is probably going to give our opponent enough time to achieve the W here, especially without any hate pieces in play for us. All right, well, that'll help. I still think I'm supposed to hold this. Just not going to need the mana anyway. Rest in Peace is just so annoying for KCI. Yep, makes sense. I mean, they've had a lot of cards and haven't really been doing a lot, so we'll have to get kind of lucky again with another great hate piece. Scrap Trawler. All right, well, we're just dead then, most likely. Yeah, with another Wellspring in particular. They don't have any ones, I guess, because of our previous... Inventor's Fair should make it pretty easy too, in theory. I think they sack... Oh, they're just going to use that to cast the KCI. Or the Scrap Trawler, excuse me. I feel like they kind of want to leave that Inventor's Fair untapped, but maybe their hand's good enough that it doesn't matter. I think I would have sacked the Mind Stone so that I could leave the Inventor's Fair untapped. But it probably doesn't matter with this many Wellsprings. Still only returning Opal off of that Wellspring, though. Okay. Well, that allows them to return a Wellspring, which is another 2 cards, but fortunately still no 1, so it's not 3 cards. Oh. They don't want to, they just pass. Okay, well, unfortunately we drew a land. The good news is it's a Windswept Heath. So if we're going to draw a land, that's the 1. But with our opponent gaining life off Inventor's Fair, there's not a lot of chance that we'd really be able to kill them with this Stride Arbor anyway. And, in addition, we are very likely dead here, unless our opponent's hand is very bad. But even still, the... yeah, I guess our opponent just passes there because it's just totally safe. Like, we can't really kill them. The worst I guess we could draw, like, a Stony Silence, though. Yeah, so I think they're probably still supposed to sack that KCI. I mean, if I draw a Stony Silence there, that's just, like, really, really bad for our opponent. Unless they have another... Maybe they have another claim in their hand, which makes it totally safe for them to pass. That makes sense. Just a third Nature's Claim. And they do play 4 on the board. Yeah, okay. We're just very, very dead, assuming our opponent wants us to be. Yeah. So now they have 1. They have 2 Scrap Trawlers, and they even have extra redundancy in these. Plus, they still don't have the Inventor's Fair utilized. So I'm going to go ahead and pack it in. It should be very, very trivial for our opponent to win from there. But I will see you in the 3rd round in just a moment.